Good morning. I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing and why I do it. But firstly, I want you to pass these jeans around. And I worked it out on the National Express coach yesterday that if there's 250 people here, you've got 6 seconds each to see whether I make a great jean or not. According to Malcolm Gladwell, that's enough. And wherever this talk stops, that person I'll make a pair of jeans for. Hey, I got to get the town making jeans, so I'm here to sell jeans as well. Yeah. Okay. So this isn't really a story about the Hiut Denim company, really. This is a story about my town. Cardigan town is 4,000 people, and here's the joke, many more sheep than people. It's a small, hard-working town, and it's not exceptional for anything apart from one thing. It knows almost better than any other town in Britain how to make jeans. It made jeans for, I don't know, 30, probably 40 years. It made jeans every week for all those years, and it made 35,000 pairs of jeans every week for all that time. If you start to think about that, it's an awful lot of jeans, isn't it? But actually, more than that, it's an awful lot of skill, and it's an awful lot of knowledge. And it's an awful lot of passion, and it's an awful lot of care. And it was Britain's biggest jeans factory, and it was actually Britain's last jeans factory. And by being last, it means actually it was the most efficient as well. In 2001, it closed. So it was Cardigan's biggest employer. 400 people out of 4,000, that's a lot. And that's £1 million each week gone out of the economy of Cardigan. You know how you can lose confidence? So can a town. That was its reason to be. You know, that's what it was best at. So imagine now today, you're going to have to stop the thing that you're best at. That's it. So I'm going to have you in a little room and tell you that you can't do the thing that you're best at anymore. That gives you the context. So if you're a photographer, you have to put your camera down. And if you're a journalist, your notepad. And if you're a designer, your Mac. Imagine putting your Mac down. My God. Like, imagine not being by your screen for more than 2 minutes. So, you know, that confidence knocks you, right? And all we had was tourism. And actually, that's not enough. About 4 years after the factory closed, I'd sold my company to a big company, and I'd worked out pretty soon as I signed the deal that actually I was unemployable. I don't actually like to be told what to do by anyone, as my mum would tell me. So I tried to buy my company back. I tried to buy my company back, and then I tried to buy my company back, and I kind of worked out they didn't want to sell. They didn't love it, but they just didn't want to sell it. Maybe because one day Jeff Schwartz, you know, his son might have said, "God, those jeans are really nice, Dad." It was that mercurial. So I walked out of the company. I started from my bedroom, and I walked down the stairs, and I kind of thought, actually, I'm never going to come back here again. And it was a really odd feeling of going, what am I going to do now? I had to sort of, on the stairs, I had to work out what I was good at. I was a good brand builder. But in Cardigan, actually, that's not that much, it's not a great asset to have. I was a good communicator. Well, actually, you go to a pub on Friday night, there's some really good communicators in that town, I can tell you. So I wrote a plan, and I went running, and I worked on the plan, and I went running, and then I worked on the plan, and I went running. And I went back to my investor and said, here's the plan. I'm going to make jeans. And they said, wow, we love it. And then I kind of froze, because I said, actually, I didn't want to run around that same track twice, because actually I hadn't worked out why I wanted to do it. So I went running. Me and my dog got fit. And then I got a call about, I don't know, a year after the plan hadn't been looked at. And Gideon, the old Howie's designer, said, Dave, why aren't you making jeans? It was a great plan. I loved the plan. I hadn't worked out why I wanted to do it. I said, well, I thought you were going to get the town making jeans again. And I said, well, I had thought about that, but, the economics are tricky, But actually, it was like a bolt of lightning going through me, going, of course, I can't change the world. But I can actually change my town. And the world doesn't need another jeans maker. It's got enough. There's more unsold jeans in America right now that it could last the next 10 years. It's like crazy. So I thought, actually, I'm working for my town, aren't I? You need a bigger purpose. You need a bigger motivation than just yourself. I kind of know that I can go and build a brand and make some money, but it wasn't enough. I needed to have the wind in my sails. Your purpose drives your passion. And it is the wind in your sails. Aha. So on February 27th, I'd employed 3 machinists. I don't call them machinists, but I'll talk about that in a bit. And I opened our website on February the 27th, and a disastrous thing happened. I got 6 months worth of orders in the first 2 weeks. And it sounds great, but it is as stressful as no orders. Because with a factory, they don't like spikes. What it likes is ding, 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 ding. It doesn't like this, because it's really hard to manage. So we had to close the website for 8 weeks, which is a really hard thing to do when you're trying to start a business. And we had to go and find more people. The good thing about Cardigan is it's like Hollywood town. When you go to LA and everybody you meet is something else. Yeah? They're a waitress, but they're a scriptwriter. Yeah? In my town, if you go for a driving lesson, they can teach you how to make jeans. If you go to a pub and they pull you a pint, they can pull your jeans apart because they can tell you how badly made they are. This town is a Hollywood town. It's ridiculous. If there's any place in Britain that you're going to go and start a jeans factory, it just happened to be my town. And I just happened to be the guy who wanted to make jeans. And I can market them, and guess what? They can make them. So I always loved this notion. My dad took me for a pint once, and he was an electrician on a ship. And it really frustrated him that the other guys didn't care as much as he did. He always wanted to do a job well. Like, it's just pride, right? And he got so frustrated in the end, actually, he started signing every job he did. Seriously, he's a nutter. Was a nutter. Bless him. JBH, JBH, JBH. And when he told me that story, I thought, it kind of explains why I'm so obsessive about stuff. That I just want to do one thing well. And I always loved the Steve Jobs story of he got the engineers to sign each Macintosh, the early Macintosh, and it was enclosed in the computer, even though nobody would ever see it. Because he believed, rightly, that artists should always sign their work. So Malcolm Gladwell, how are the jeans anyway? Are they anywhere? Come on, you gotta get quick. 6 seconds you got. So Gladwell believed that to be a grandmaster of chess, you need 10,000 hours. That's what you need to get good at something. But oddly, in my town, we had people who had spent 20, 30, 40, 50,000 working hours making jeans. Like, we were grandmasters plus. We knew how to make a great jean. It's like, We genuinely know how to make great jeans in our town. But for us to get, the aim is, and it's a crazy aim because it's a really hard aim, is how do we get 400 people their jobs back? So far, as of today, because Rob has joined us today, sorry we're not there, Rob, we've got 10 people, and we've got to try and get 400 people their jobs back. Now, we've got sentiment. Hey, isn't it a nice story? A town that used to make jeans is making jeans again. Isn't that? Manufacturing goes away and never comes back. Isn't that a nice story? Isn't life great? It's not enough. No business is built on sentiment alone. Quality. We've got quality in spades. I mean, our coin pocket fits an iPhone. Yeah, it's not easy to do all that stuff. Yeah, it's not easy to understand that at night the cotton expands and by day it shrinks. We can make a great jean, but quality, being the best at what we do, actually isn't good enough for us. Because all the people that we're competing against, the best at what they do, they've got huge reputations and they've got huge marketing budgets. So I can't win that game, even if I'm the best. Being the best isn't good enough for us. So we've got a lot of pressure on us. How do we get this town making jeans again? Yeah. The thing for us is we have to have ideas. And we don't want to try and change what brand of jeans you're wearing. We have to find out, our mission is, how do we change the business model? I was in California last week, and in the Levi store, and you see your jeans from 1876. Guess what? They nailed it. And they were doing stonewash then, but it was actually in a river, and it was stones washing it. They absolutely nailed it. Our job isn't to change the brand that you wear, it's to try and figure out ways to try and change this business model, because that's the way we're going to beat the rest. These toys are my girls' toys. And it's hard to recognize them now, but they've had a lot of love. Now, the interesting thing is I can go on Amazon on the National Express coach back and buy some new ones, identical ones. And guess what? Before I arrive back, they'll bloody be there. But to the girls, that's no good, because it's not Bun Bun and it's not Ted Ted. The things that we own tell stories about us. The jeans that you're being handed around, I took those to California. I was supposed to meet up with Perry from Kickstarter. He couldn't make the Do US in the end, so I brought the jeans back. Then I had to go and do a talk in Ireland, so I took them over there. Then I brought them back, and I got a coach down to here. So they've already had an interesting life. And by the time Perry gets them, they're going to be handed around 250 people. The things that we own tell stories about us. I think that's an interesting notion. And I'm really fascinated by that. Now, if you put these two things together, the Luddite-ness of a company that wants to make things last, and the internet's ability to tell stories, where those two things meet is an interesting space. Okay. So when we started in February 27th at 9 a.m., we were the world's first jean to have a history tag on them. What does that mean? It means, essentially, it's got a unique number. What does that mean? It means that you can go and see 6 photographs of your jeans being made by Ellen or Jean, and her name is Jean, Amanda, or now Tracy as well. But interestingly is, this allows you, if you want, if you so desire, to upload photographs of your journey along the way. And the interesting thing for us is, gosh, guess what? The second-hand jeans market is stronger than the first-hand jeans market. But if our jeans in 5 or 10 years' time end up in a second-hand shop and you're able to see the history of those jeans, that might be of interest to you. It might not. I'm not saying this is a big idea or a small idea. Our job is to have ideas out there and actually go and see which ones stick. This thing is like staring at a blank iPod at the moment. There's no music on it. Talking about meaning is you have to go and put the meaning on there. And how do you do that? By the things that you go and do. The Antiques Roadshow is interesting for 2 reasons. Firstly, you want to find out if you're going to be a millionaire. Then you find out you're not going to be a millionaire. Then the next thing you want to find out is, how did this vase get here? What was its journey? We're interested in that stuff. It's of interest to us. And actually, I don't even know why, except humans like to know the trail of things. Yeah, and at the moment, the history tag, is it perfect? No. The idea is interesting, though. And we need to work on how to make the website better and make it maybe more intuitive. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying that nobody's ever done it before, and I'm really interested in that fact. If we want to get 400 people their jobs back, we're going to have some ideas that have never been done before. Guess what? The jeans market's kind of interesting for us, because we make jeans mostly. 80% of the market is jeans that have been industrially washed to make them look old. We want to fake our history. I don't want to be in that company, by the way. I think it's pretty dumb. One of our silent shareholders is a thing called Planet Earth. The best jean of all for the environment is the one you don't wash. 80% of its impact comes from you washing it. And guess what? The good thing is we can't afford the £1 million machines to wash our jeans. So we're in the 20% market. Our niche is unwashed jeans. Guess what? Where's the business? Washed, faked history jeans. If we want to get 400 people their jobs back, actually, we need to go and play in that space too. But we don't want to wash them, right? This is the River Teivi. This is where this is the river that runs through Cardigan. And when they used to make jeans, when they were dyeing the jeans, it used to run blue. This is now the river that Salmon River go up. So we're not keen to wash jeans. So how do we solve that problem? It's not easy. If 80% of your market wants fake-looking jeans, okay, interesting. Come the spring, again, we're here to have ideas. We want to sell our jeans to ideas people. And the best way for us to do that is to go and have crazy ideas too. Because those crazy heads will find us because they go, do you know what? They have more crazy ideas than anybody else. So the Denim Breakin Club is, we're going to do 50 pairs of jeans as an experiment, and we're going to give them to creative art students and say, look, you're going to give us a deposit because otherwise we might never see you again. And then for 6 months, you're going to have to sign up to wearing them, recording them on the history tag thing, and agreeing never to wash them. And then you're going to send them back to us, and we're going to wash them just once. And they're going to look beautiful, and they're going to look old and beaten up, and they look like some history. And because we have the history tag thing, you're going to have the history that comes along with it too. And guess what? We're going to make you a shareholder in that jean. So when we sell it, you're going to have 20%. So effectively, we're going to pay these guys and girls to be our washing machine. And guess what? Planet Earth is much better for it. Guess what? Our margin is much better for it. And guess what? The river is much better for it. And again, that's an experiment. It might fall on its bum. Our job is to have ideas, because we need to get 400 people their jobs back. I think, how am I doing for time? Okay. I think we're at a really interesting space. This is going to sound really odd, is In 20 years' time, I think we'll actually thank the bankers for messing things up so acutely. Because they've made a monumental job of everything, the greedy little buggers, that we've got to do something extraordinary again, and we've got to start thinking. And we've got to do something extraordinary again, and that's start making. And we've got to do something extraordinary again, and that's growing. You know, so in 20 years' time, we might actually thank them, because I actually think we're probably going in the wrong direction very fast, and they've slowed everything down. The reason I love Kickstarter is it funds creative projects, and there's no bank in sight. I love Kickstarter. I love anything that puts the banks out of business. Because I'm for the ideas people. And I think now is the time for us to have our biggest, boldest, bravest ideas. And anybody who has that, I want to make jeans for you. Because I love the people who want to change this planet for the better. And I'm there going, as a jeans maker, I just want to make ideas for those people. Because, you know, those are the people I've surrounded my working life with. And also, for us, we've got to sit here and just go, look, how do we get our town to be relevant again? How do we give it its purpose back? You know, and I take you back to that thought. If you had to stop what you do best now, what would you do? Well, I think you'd resist that change, and you'd find another way of doing what you do best. So I'm grateful, you know, myself and Claire, the town, you know, all the grandmasters, Claudio, who's cut jeans for 38 years. I'm really grateful to have a second chance. Thank you very much.